What's up, everybody? It's me, Joey P. Joe Pizzapia, back with another waiver wire video. It is week 15 in Major League Baseball. We are hitting the All-Star break, which is good. A little bit of a reset, and now that final push. And there's still players, if you can believe it or not, they can still help your fantasy baseball teams. Before we get to those names, it just occurred to me, all this time, I've been your personal waiver wire assistant, but if you don't have time to always watch the videos, or if you need some last minute help, you can always go to our waiver assistant, which is part of our My Playbook. So download the My Playbook app from FantasyPros and use the waiver wire assistant. And if you love playing fantasy baseball, give SoRare a chance as well. It's fun, it's fantasy, it's digital cards, and it's free. All of those amazing things. Go to fantasypros.com/collect, sign up for free, join our league at fantasypros.com/leadingoffleague today, and you can start winning some cool things like MLB TV subscriptions by winning and dominating in SoRare MLB. The next era is here. So let's get to the names on the waiver wire this week that I want to add for week 15 in Major League Baseball. Let's kick things off this week with Jarren Duran, outfielder for the Boston Red Sox, rostered in roughly 40% of leagues. This past weekend, Jarren Duran had himself a day. 5 hits to be exact, 4 doubles, 3 runs scored, but that's not the only reason why I want to add Jarren Duran. If you look at the slash so far on the season, he's hitting above 300 with a 350 OBP and a 480 slugging percentage with 4 homers and 15 steals. This is the Jarren Duran that we saw in the minor leagues. Check out this slash line from the minors for Duran. 299 batting average, 366 OBP, and a 468 slugging percentage. Sound familiar? This is the Jarren Duran we are used to seeing at the minor league level, and this was a pretty big sample there. 330 plus games over his first 65 this season at the age of 26. It looks like Jarren Duran is finally starting to figure it out. Now, the caveat is, the one downside is he still strikes out 28% of the time, which means he could be prone to slumps, or in points leagues that affect you negatively in strikeouts, he can undo some of the good that he's doing for you on the base paths and even with the stick. But here's the thing. In roto formats of any kind, he's giving you a little bit of pop, he's giving you a good amount of speed and batting average. As long as he continues to make good contact and this BABIP holds just the way it seems to have in his minor league career, then Jarren Duran might finally be a guy you feel comfortable with in even 12-team mixed leagues starting every week. The fact that he's only rostered in 40% of leagues right now is actually kind of surprising, so scoop him up for the second half of the season because it looks like Duran finally might be turning a corner, and all that patience is paying off. Next on our list is a second chance candidate, Jose Miranda, infielder for the Minnesota Twins, rostered in about 25% of leagues. Now, Miranda qualifies at first and third in most leagues, and going into the season, he was looking to be a pretty good value at the corner spot. Unfortunately, he was anything but, hitting under 200 in his first opportunity with the Twins in 2023. What happened? He got sent down, and things were kind of pacing at the same direction until, that is, of course, June, where all of a sudden, Jose Miranda started to wake up. In fact, he hit 287 with a 362 OBP and a 436 slash line, which was very reminiscent of exactly what he was doing last year, and this is the player that we were excited about as a value. Now, Jose Miranda is probably not going to win you any championships, but with all the injuries that the Twins have had, including Royce Lewis going on the shelf for a while with an oblique issue, Jose Miranda is going to get another shot, and if he can convert what he is doing in the last month at AAA up again at the big league level with the Twins, just like he did last year, well, then all of a sudden Jose Miranda becomes a very useful utility bat or corner bat for you in most fantasy formats. What I'm looking for is him to get back to that guy he was in 2022. It's not that far removed from hitting 15 home runs, driving in 66 over 125 games with a very respectable 268 batting average. That's the dude I want to see. Is he limited? Of course. But he's still just 25 years old, so there's always a reason to believe that Jose Miranda can take his game up a notch. You want him to start to succeed and succeed fast, though, because if he doesn't, you can drop him right back to the waiver wire. But in the meantime, I would add him, especially in deeper leagues, to see if he can recapture that magic from 2022, because if he can, all of a sudden, he can become a useful cog in your fantasy lineups. How about some pitching help with our next selection here for this week on the waiver wire? It's Jose Quintana, starting pitcher of the New York Mets. If you forgot about Jose Quintana, don't feel bad. So did I, and I'm a Mets fan. Yes, that is a cross I have to bear, but I don't want to get into that. I have too many issues. That's for my therapist. Instead, let's talk about Jose Quintana, who's made another rehab start on Friday and is working his way back to the Mets rotation sometime probably in the next week or so. That being said, he's going to get that rotation back spot very soon. Last year for the St. Louis Cardinals, Jose Quintana was brilliant down the stretch. Over his final 12 games, he had a 2 ERA with 48 strikeouts to just 16 walks in his final 62 innings. Even before that with Pittsburgh, he pitched pretty well over 100 innings with a 3.50 ERA. Jose Quintana is probably not going to light up the strikeout board for you, but what he can do is help you potentially with some ERA whip numbers, and maybe, dare I say, even win potential if the Mets offense continues to score runs and that bullpen can get straight. I don't know, that might be asking too much, but we are all looking for starting pitching all of the time. You can never have enough of it. So Jose Quintana is worth adding right now. If you look at the roster percentage for him, he is rostered in just 15% of leagues. That's crazy. He should be added right now to see if he could possibly get back on track and help that Mets rotation get straightened out a little bit, because that has been all over the place in 2023. You see how my feelings keep coming out? That's a problem. Again, Jose Quintana, a matchup play at best, but still worth adding because you can't have enough starting pitching depth on your roster. Let's see if we can add some saves this week too, and let's add Hunter Harvey, rostered in 33% of leagues for the Washington Nationals. He is the closer, question mark? I think he is. He just locked up his 8th save earlier this week, and the 28-year-old Harvey has delivered 7 straight scoreless appearances leading up to that. He is 8 for 13 in save chances this season with a 3.16 ERA, a 1.00 whip, and 41 strikeouts in 37 innings with just 12 walks. That's good enough. I understand that save opportunities are going to be sparse for the Washington Nationals. However, that doesn't matter. We'll take saves wherever we can get saves, and it looks like right now Hunter Harvey is that guy for saves. He has gone past Kyle Finnegan for this job, which means it's time to add him. In fact, I can't believe that more people haven't already. If you are in any roto format, head-to-head or season-long, add Hunter Harvey now. He's not getting traded. Nobody's looking to say, ooh, I need Hunter Harvey on my roster that is going to the playoffs. No, no, no. He is going to probably just close out the year as the closer for the Nats. So add him now and hope that you maybe get another 12 to 15 saves for him in the second half. Speaking of relievers, I think a good speculative add this week is Aroldis Chapman, who is now on the Texas Rangers, and he's rostered already in almost 40% of leagues. Now, the Texas Rangers went out there and made a move with Kansas City to bolster their bullpen, which has been their Achilles heel all year, and Aroldis Chapman certainly does have experience in that role. So far, over 33 appearances this year, he has 31 innings pitched, 56 strikeouts to 20 walks, a 1.18 whip, and a 2.30 ERA. That looks like the Aroldis Chapman of old, even if he is an older Aroldis Chapman. See what I did there? Play on words. It's fun. We're having fun. Baseball can be fun. The 35-year-old right now is still sitting behind Will Smith for the closer role, but I don't know how long that's going to last. I think at some point you could see a committee form, or because of Chapman's history as being a really good closer, especially in games that matter, you could potentially see Aroldis Chapman overtake Will Smith at some point in the dog days of August. So this is one of those ads where you have to put him on your roster and wait. If I had Will Smith on my roster, I would absolutely be having Chapman as well, just for insurance at the very least. But even over his last 3 appearances since he's taken over there for the Rangers in the 8th inning, he's been really good. A .69 whip and a 1.62 ERA. Not too shabby. Again, you could see how this might work out for Chapman and the Rangers. This was a very cagey move by the front office to address the problem that has been their bullpen. And if they can get that right and keep pitching the way they have, who knows? Maybe the Texas Rangers will indeed find themselves in the playoffs when all is said and done. And lastly, in the theme of riding the wave, Tommy Pham, outfielder for the New York Mets, rostered in 45% of leagues. Now, do I believe in this hot streak of Tommy Pham? No. Do I think it's going to end soon? Probably. But in the meantime, if I am desperate for some offensive help because I've had a lot of injuries or guys are just not hitting, well then, I think I throw a flyer on Tommy Pham and see what happens, because over his last 10 games heading into July 4th, he was slashing .386 with a .435 OBP and a .596 slugging over those games, with 3 homers and 3 stolen bases. Now, Tommy Pham has always been a guy historically that could give you a little pop and a little speed. I don't think anybody really believed that Tommy Pham was going to make a difference on fantasy rosters, but you have to kind of pay attention to these things sometime when a player starts to pop and when they have hot streaks. Now, I don't know what his playing time is going to look like. If Starling Marte gets dealt somehow at the deadline, things could really open up for Tommy Pham, but I think you have to take a look at the pace he's on right now, because basically you're looking at a player who's probably going to eclipse 15, 17 home runs and probably close to as many stolen bases. And if he can maintain anything close to this batting average of 287 so far on the season, Tommy Pham could be useful. This is probably a deeper league or desperation play, but nonetheless, right now, the 35-year-old is producing, and if you need productivity, Tommy Pham might be able to give it to you for at least another week or two, and who knows? Anything could happen. Maybe it's just a turn of a corner for Tommy Pham's career. I doubt it, but as they say, any port in a storm. There you have it. Those are the names to add in Week 15, and I encourage you, go try something new. New is good. New is exciting. So rare is new. FantasyPros.com/collect. It is free to join, and use that waiver wire assistant. Use the My Playbook tools. They will help you make that final playoff push, and if you haven't checked them out, go check them out. They're free. And of course, if you go premium, you can upgrade to the greatest tools in the history of the planet. Plus, we got football season right around the corner. So much fantasy, so little time. That'll do it for me. I'm Joey P. We'll see you next time, kids.